The late 19th century marked a turning point in Brazilian history. The War of Canudos, a conflict between the impoverished residents of Canudos and the Brazilian military, ended in 1897. Many soldiers who fought in Canudos were left landless and unemployed. They sought refuge in the cities, hoping for a better life. In Rio de Janeiro, these veterans found themselves with few options. They settled on the hills overlooking the city, forming the first favela, Morro da Providência. Morro da Providência, meaning Hill of Providence, became a symbol of both hope and hardship. The veterans who settled there had fought for their country but were left with little support. They built makeshift homes on the hillside, creating a community out of necessity. The name favela itself comes from a type of plant found in Canudos, linking these early settlements to the veterans' shared past. This initial occupation of Morro da Providência set the stage for the growth of favelas throughout the 20th century. As more and more people migrated to Rio de Janeiro, the demand for housing far outstripped supply. Favelas, with their informal settlements and lack of government oversight, became a refuge for those seeking affordable shelter. The story of Morro da Providência highlights the complex factors that led to the emergence of favelas. It is a story of displacement, poverty, and the search for a place to belong. But it is also a story of resilience, community, and the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. The first half of the 20th century saw a dramatic shift in Brazilian demographics. The country was rapidly urbanizing as people left rural areas in search of economic opportunities. This rural exodus was driven by a combination of factors, including industrial growth in the cities and a lack of investment in rural areas. Rio de Janeiro, as Brazil's capital at the time, experienced this influx of migrants firsthand. Newcomers arrived daily, seeking jobs and a better life. However, the city was ill-equipped to handle this population boom. Affordable housing was scarce, and the government struggled to provide basic services to its rapidly growing population. Favelas, with their informal housing market and lack of bureaucratic hurdles, offered a practical solution for many migrants. While lacking basic amenities, they provided a space to build a home and connect with others. Favelas grew organically, with residents constructing their own houses and communities. This period of rapid urbanization solidified the favela's place in Rio's landscape. They became an integral part of the city's social fabric, even as they remained largely excluded from official recognition and support. The influx of migrants brought with it a rich cultural tapestry, shaping the vibrant and diverse communities that characterize favelas today. While the mid-20th century saw significant industrial growth in Brazil, the benefits were not equally distributed. The economic boom fueled a demand for labor, drawing more people to urban centers like Rio de Janeiro. However, this industrial expansion also exacerbated existing social inequalities. The influx of workers created a surplus labor pool, keeping wages low. The government, focused on industrial development, often neglected social programs and affordable housing initiatives. This neglect disproportionately impacted the urban poor, many of whom resided in favelas. The lack of affordable housing options forced many to seek shelter in favelas, further entrenching these communities in a cycle of poverty and marginalization. As industries thrived and the city prospered, the gap between the rich and the poor continued to widen, with favelas often bearing the brunt of this disparity. Life in the favelas was marked by a constant struggle for basic rights and dignity. Despite being vibrant and resilient communities, favelas faced significant challenges. These communities lacked access to essential services such as sanitation, healthcare, and education. The precarious living conditions contributed to health problems and limited opportunities for residents. Furthermore, favelas carried a heavy social stigma. They were often portrayed as dangerous and crime-ridden, perpetuating negative stereotypes about their residents. This stigma created barriers for favela residents seeking employment, education, and social mobility. Despite these challenges, favela residents demonstrated remarkable resilience and a strong sense of community. They organized themselves to address their needs, establishing informal networks for support and mutual aid. This spirit of solidarity and collective action would pave the way for the emergence of social movements in the decades to come.